Welcome to Story Skeptic, and this week's thoughts is about remakes. The good, the bad and the ugly. So the last 2 decades there have been an increase in remakes, probably because of some guys in suits found out that that's more profitable. I'm kind of sick and tired of remakes. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a remake hater. I think it's fine. I actually appreciate a remake. But it's when they're so bad, I get frustrated. I want them to be good. And I'm aware that studios and producers don't give a crap what I think about it and about what constitutes a good remake. As long as it makes them money, they're happy pumping out these horrible remakes rather than making original content or actually good remakes. I call this good, the bad and the ugly of remakes, so let's just start with the most ugliest. And that's the Disney remakes. And Disney is on some sort of fucking crusade to remake all the classic gems they had. And for me, they just don't work at all because it's so shallow. It's basically just an visual update from the previous film, often lacking what made the original film so special. And the king of ugly remakes is the Lion King remake with its live realistic animation style, which is horrible. It's technically impressive, but it's such a big disservice to these animated films. Like, realistic lines doesn't work. You can't really emote their faces. Just look at these shots for me. So you can decide for yourself what you prefer. I really prefer the old one, just based on the emotions. I can't really sympathize with Simba when he's a real lion. These extremely hyper-realistic animals might work in another movie where it makes sense, like, I don't know, the bear in The Revenant or the apes in the Planet of the Apes, the new one. Those, by the way, I think are good remakes. Anyways, they're not really adding story, not trying to get a new perspective or take on it. It's more of a remaster. This is what I think constitutes the ugly remakes, all of the Disney ones. Just basically doing a remaster, a patch update on the graphics. And there's a bunch of others. Not good reasons to make a remake. Then we have the bad. I feel they at least try to change things, but they end up being poorer than the original. And a good example of this is the remake of the classic murder mystery, The Murder on Orient Express, directed by Kenneth Branagh, also starring as Poirot. And here they do like Disney, they revamp everything, they make the quality better, to get in A-list stars. But the problem here is that they change the main character, it changes Poirot. Which is good, but the problem is when it's just not true to the character and it makes the story worse for it. Brett Kavanaugh makes him into a serious 007 agent, which I'm not kidding. In the end of the Orient Express, he literally had a fight. And for you guys not familiar with Poirot, he's a detective. The whole thing about him is that he's a fat little man which uses his little grey cells to find out who did it. It's not an action hero. Here Branagh's Poirot runs, jumps and fights, and it's just absolutely crazy. And he's gonna make another one. Just yesterday I saw the trailer of the remake of The Death on the Nile. Just seeing the trailer, it seems like it's gonna be exactly the same mess. Just a cinematography update, beautiful images, okay. A character just so misconstrued. In the end he's holding a fucking gun, look at this. Look, he's gonna shoot them. I mean, it's really silly. I hope this is just a trailer and it's not really the case that Poirot is gonna have another fight scene.
Unfortunately not.
This is a bit like what Rian Johnson did to Luke Skywalker's character in The Last Jedi. Yeah, he's changed. It's different. But at what cost? Another good example is The Witches remake with Anna Hathaway as the Grand Witch. It's an okay movie, but I was really looking forward to it. It has a lot of potential with the mouses, but they really didn't take advantage of that. I mean, this is one of those remakes I actually think could have been one of the good ones. In my opinion, the older one is superior. With the menacing Grand Witch and the really disgusting costume and makeup. And just the atmosphere is so much darker, sinister, and really manages to capture Roald Dahl's story. I'm actually gonna make a video essay comparing these two films. So if you're interested, subscribe so you don't miss out. Then we have some good remakes as well. And these are the ones I really love and appreciate. And one of my favorite remakes and number one favorite horror film of all time is John Carpenter's The Thing. Now, this remake is really good and justified. So for those who don't know it, The Thing is a remake of a much older film from 1951 called The Thing from Another World, based on the book called Who Goes There. It's essentially the same story. So why does this remake work? Well, the director John Carpenter said he didn't feel the original film stuck to the novel enough. That's why I wanted to make his own version, which follows the book closely. And it's quite different from the other movie. And it's also a huge improvement from the older one, both technically, but most importantly, story-wise. This is the type of remakes I really love. I don't have any problem with this one. They could make remakes like this all day long and I wouldn't care if this was the result. And it's not like the remake has to be better than the original. And if it doesn't, it fails. It only fails to me if it's like Disney's cash grab, who don't really care for retelling the story in like a new perspective or interesting way. Like what's good and bad and all that beyond the technical stuff is very subjective. So there's room for a lot of interpretations of a story. It's like the remakes of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. There's a bunch of them and every one of them is like improving, changing. And it's almost a study on how our society and culture engage with media. Lindsay Ellis have a great video on The Hunchback of Notre Dame and its evolution through all the remakes. That's it. Like the video and subscribe. And considering all this, I get the temptation of remaking something. It's basically thinking, oh, this works, let's do it again. But I will leave you with a quote from actor and director Richard Benjamin. I always say you should remake flops, not hits.